Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for your time with us today. I'm gonna give a few minutes, seconds, I should say, as people connect. We're very happy that you're with us today. We're gonna be talking about our Master of Advanced Management program, but not the program itself, but the application process. So we're going to be explaining how it works, and more importantly, we're going to be trying to give you some advice on how to complete your application in the best possible way. What are we going to be looking for? What are the things we're paying attention to? And then how can you be presenting your best self? So hopefully everybody has joined by now. I'm gonna introduce myself and then I'm gonna hand it over to my colleague, Kelsey, who's gonna be presenting with me today. So my name is Camino de Paz. I'm the Assistant Dean of Growing Network Programs at the Yale School of Management. I've been at Yale for 8 years, and I have a dual role. On the one hand side, I oversee admissions for 2 degree programs. One is the one we're presenting about today, the Master of Advanced Management, and the other program is the Master in Global Business and Society. And then I also have another team with whom I work overseeing the back office of the Global Network for Advanced Management. We put together different initiatives for all our stakeholders, and we deliver them at each of the member schools. Hopefully you're familiar with Global Network Weeks, Global Network courses, Global Network competitions, and other events that we run. And if you're not and you're interested, please go and check with your MBA office at your Global Network school, because everybody's eligible to participate. Anyway, so that's me. Before we get into the presentation, Kelsey, would you like to present yourself?
Thank you, Camino. Hi, everyone. My name's Kelsey. I'm the Assistant Director of Admissions for the MAM program at Yale. I've been at Yale for about 6 years now, and I've been with the MAM program for 4 of them. So I'm excited to share some application tips with you today.
Thank you so much, Kelsey. So we're going to start our presentation. I encourage everybody to put questions in the chat or wait until the end and also ask questions live. As we're presenting, most likely we're not going to be checking the chat, so we're going to do it at the end, but that shouldn't be stopping you from asking questions as they come up, and then we will definitely take them all at the end of the presentation. So the first thing that I want to mention is our mission statement. Yale SOM educates leaders for business and society. And this is extremely important at our school. Everybody, from the person that welcomes you in the front desk, all the way to the dean, we all know that this is our purpose. We educate leaders, not just for business, but for business and society. So as we are talking about tips for the application process, you should be aware of our mission statement, and you should convey to us how you relate to this mission statement. How do you plan to embrace it as a student, and how would you then also take it further as an alum? Because it will be present again in everything that you do here with us, in our curriculum, in the extracurricular activities, in the speakers we bring on campus, and on the different things that we do as a community together. So the MAM is a 1-year degree program for MBA graduates from around the world. Round 1 and round 2, we'll explain this later, are open just to Global Network schools, and round 3, it's open to schools outside of the network, to top selected schools from outside of the Global Network for Advanced Management. Who should be considering doing the MAM? Again, everybody has an MBA already in order to apply to the MAM. So this is a program that is a niche program. It's not for everybody. You are graduating or have recently graduated from a top school with your MBA, and you can totally go back to the workforce and be extremely successful in the career of your choice. But if you would like to go deeper in a specific area where you haven't had the opportunity during your MBA, you might have been taking a few electives here and there, but you might not had the opportunity to dig really deep in an area, that could be a reason to come to the MAM. Or if you want to go broader, if you want to go outside of the scope of management and take classes in other disciplines that you could be interested in either professionally or personally, You can also do that here. You can even take classes outside of the School of Management and take classes at the School of Drama or the School of Public Health or the School of the Environment. A lot of our students take classes at the School of the Environment. Or you want to do a combination of both. You want to go deeper and broader at the same time. So these are the people that have this intellectual interests and decide to continue their education coming for an additional year to the US and do the MAM program. But at the end, you will graduate with 2 networks and 2 brands, your home school, your home MBA school, and then Yale SOM. You will have a global career. Most of our students, end up in a 3rd, 4th country post the MAM. And you will also have a community purpose. Like no matter where you end in the world, you will have a community. You will find people that are alike and that will have a purpose in life, and they will support you and expect the same from you in return. So the MAM curriculum, we get a lot of questions about the curriculum. It's very, very flexible. So much so that there are only 2 courses that are required, and those only take 4 units of credit. The total program is 40 units of credit, and again, only 4 are required. Those 2 required courses have to do with leadership, with your leadership skills. The first one is global leadership topics in business and society. Not a surprise, our mission is already there. And the second one is global leadership, personal and interpersonal effectiveness. The first one is a colloquium type. We bring to class thought leaders from around the university, but not only from around the university, we also bring people from the corporate world. And they engage in conversations about, trendy topics in the world with our students. It's a very energetic and dynamic conversation, not just because of the caliber of the speakers, but also because of the caliber of the students in the room and the different cultures and the different backgrounds they have experienced. So again, a very, very interesting and energetic course. The second one works on your personal abilities, on your leadership skills, your teamwork skills, and your global skills as well. And so, works on different types of communication, on different types of effective teamwork, and how to solve potential problems that can arise when there's a cultural difference among participants and so on. And then the rest, again, 36 units of credit are up to you. You can choose from more than 150 electives that we have at the School of Management, or you can go outside of the School of Management and take classes at any of the other 11 professional schools and the Graduate School of Arts and Sciences that we have at Yale. So, I said this already, but ask your questions in the chat. I included the slide in case I forgot to mention it. Ask your questions in the chat. This is a session for you. It's not just for us to deliver information, but it's more important that we answer all your questions. This is tips for the application process. And while we know some of the advices that we would like to give to you, I think it's even more important that we take your questions to make sure that that you make the most out of this session. So what is the application process like? Okay, the application is online. You can go to our website and access our application very easily. I would recommend you that you take time. It has different parts, and it will take you a few days to complete it. And if you want to do a good job, we're also asking for some paperwork that you need to submit. So it will take you some time to complete it. So don't go the day before the deadline and start the application on that day. We are going to be requiring essays, and we're going to go deeper into these essays. Kelsey will explain to you what the topics are and what we're expecting there. There are 3 essays, not very long, but we want to get to know your motivation for the program. We're going to be asking for your resume. Please don't submit 5-page resume. 1 page would be ideal. Transcripts from all your degrees earned in your career. So that would be undergrad degree and whatever grades you have for your MBA so far. You might have completed the program and you have all the grades for the MBA, or you might be quite at the beginning of the program and you might not have any grades in yet. Do not worry, submit what you have, and then we'll take it from there. We're also requiring a Gmat or GRE score. And this, for those of you that might have been considering the program in the past, this is new. In the past, we would accept it, but now it's mandatory. And the reason is because we want to be consistent with the other degree programs that we have at SOM where the test is required. And also because we're opening up, as I mentioned before, the program to non-GNAM schools, and we want to have an objective point of comparison for everybody independently of where they have done their MBA before. It's another data point. It's not going to determine whether you're admitted or not to the program. It's just another data point. We follow a holistic approach in admissions, but it is required. We're gonna be asking you for a letter of recommendation, ideally from somebody that that knows you from a work environment, a former supervisor, somebody you worked for, an internship that you've done, somebody that can speak to your ability in a work environment. Then we're gonna ask for a letter of support from a dean or director from your MBA. So if you come from a Global Award school, they already know what we're asking for. If you're coming from a non-GNAM school, and it might be the first time that your dean or director is writing this letter, all we want to know is whether they feel you are a good ambassador of the school. Not just academically, how well have you done in your MBA, but also how have you been as a member of the community? Have you been representing well the school? Have you been involved in things outside of the classroom? Do they believe that you are a good ambassador? That's what we're looking for. Then you have to pay an application fee of $95. And once you pay the application fee, you will be prompted to 3 video questions that you have to answer. Again, the order is reverse. So you present all the materials that I just mentioned, you pay the application fee, and then you're prompted to the video questions. Again, 3 video questions, they don't need preparation. All you need is to be calmed and to be in a quiet space and just respond to the questions as they come up. They give you like a few minutes to think about your response, and then the camera goes on and you have to actually answer the question, and you have limited time. You will know how much time you have for each of the questions. I know this can be nerve-wracking, but quite frankly, you shouldn't be worried about it. There's no right or wrong answers. We just want to see how you think on your feet. And also for those of you like myself who are not English native speakers, we're also going to be assessing your level of English in the video questions, because we don't ask for any English tests like the TOEFL or the IELTS or any of the other tests that are out there. So this is our way to assess your level of English. And then we will read all the applications and decide to invite the candidates that we think are strong enough for an interview. We would love to interview everybody, but unfortunately, given our small team, we have to do a selection prior to interview process, and then we will invite those that we decide are stronger for an interview. In terms of dates and for our application rounds, the round 1 has already passed. It was January 6th. We are now immersed in interviewing candidates, and we're now receiving applications for round 2, which is really coming up soon, February 22nd. And then round 3 will be April 12th. This round 3 is when we will be admitting candidates that are from non-GNAM schools. Round 2 is still only for candidates from GNAM schools. And I would suggest that you present your application whenever you are ready to present the strongest application. If you come from a GNAM school, if you are able to present in round 2, that might give you a little bit of an advantage, because round 3 will be more competitive because we're expecting more applications there as we're opening it up to other schools. But if you're not ready, your application is not strong enough, then you can totally wait until round 3 to submit your application. Something that I really want to talk about as well is affording your Master of Advanced Management, because this is a high price tag. We're very much aware, and you need to also plan for this. So the tuition, it's as of today, $74,500. And this is the 2022, so it will change slightly for the class of 2023. And then the living expenses are estimated around $28,000. So a lot of money to do this program. What are the funding options that you have? The first one is international student loans. We work with some companies that lend money to our students, but the caveat here is that most of these companies ask for a co-signer. So you would need to have somebody that would sign the contract with you and would be also responsible for paying back the loan in case that you can't. Then we have scholarships. We have merit-based scholarships. Everybody's eligible. You don't need to submit any additional information. Everybody who submits an application is automatically considered for merit scholarship. And we also have for this program a need-aware scholarship form available. So two types of scholarships, the merit ones, and then for those that are interested in filling the form that you will find on your status application page. Once you pay the fee and you answer your video questions, you will see an optional form there that you are welcome to fill with your finances and and then we'll figure out your need there. And then we're gonna do our best for those admitted students to try to see if we can meet some of the gap that they have between the tuition and the finances that they are providing us with. Then again, back to the merit scholarships, they are not full tuitions for the merit scholarship for the most part. They range between 10,000 and 37,000. So 37,000 would be like half tuition, and with everything in between possible. Some exceptional students, again, exceptional students may receive scholarships that go above the 30,000, and we've given in the past some full rides, but for those cases, you really have to prove that you are exceptional among the pool of candidates that we're receiving. So you have to have an amazing transcripts, great test scores, amazing experience, be very unique in your video questions. You have to really stand out. This would be two examples of what your tuition would be should you be giving to different scholarships, which are common, like with a 10K or with 25K, what your tuition would look like. But then this is very basic math that you can totally figure out yourself. So now I'm gonna hand it over to Kelsey, and we're gonna go into each of the parts of the application, giving you our advice on each of the parts and what are the things that we're looking for and how you should complete each of them. So Kelsey.
Thanks, Camino. Great. Well, let's break down the essays a little bit more. We already told you there are 3 of them. So here are our 3 essays. The first one is, why is the MAM program the right program for you? What would the MAM program add to your current preparation for your future? Now, we know that you already have obtained your MBA or you are working toward your MBA. So you would be just fine going on your career. You've been to excellent schools. You would have a very successful career. So we understand that the MAM program isn't for everyone. It's a pretty unique program. So this essay helps us understand why it's right for you. Now, I'll say this for all of the essays, but we're not looking for a specific answer. All of our students are unique. Their reasoning for pursuing the MAM is unique. So just keep that in mind and really be authentic when you are answering this question. From the admissions side, it's pretty easy to tell when someone is just telling us what they think we want to hear, as opposed to why they really are pursuing the program. The next essay is to list 3 core values you believe you'll bring to the MAM program. This just helps us understand what you as a candidate would bring to the MAM program, what makes you unique, what you think you'll add to the cohort. So really think about the values that you will be bringing to the MAM program, to Yale School of Management, Yale University, and to your cohort. The last essay is to please describe your short-term and long-term career goals. How will the MAM program help you reach your goals? This is pretty self-explanatory. It helps us understand where you see yourself, what your short and long-term goals are, and how the MAM program will help you get there. So with all of these essays, I do have a few pieces of advice that hold true for all of them. The very first one, which I already mentioned, is to please be authentic. We really want to know why you're doing the program, where you see yourself, and what you think you'll bring to the cohort. The next one is a little bit more technical, and it may seem obvious, but it always helps for us to reiterate. Please proofread. It helps us gauge your ability to, your written ability for English. As Camino mentioned, we don't ask for any test scores like the TOEFL or anything like that. So please proofread your essays. And then one last piece of very specific advice. We always suggest to have a friend read your essays, but not to tell them what the prompt is. See if they can guess what it is. And if they can, if they're pretty on track for what the question was, you know that you've made a clear, concise, and strong argument for each of these essays. Transcripts. Now, Camino has already talked to you a little bit about these, but we'll go into a little bit more detail. We need transcripts from every degree granting university that you have been to. If you are still in your MBA program, we want your grades up until the point that you are applying. We want all of the transcripts in English. We will need that to review them. And then unofficial transcripts are acceptable until you enroll. So you don't need to send us an official transcript. We actually don't accept a paper copy of transcripts at Yale SOM. So you can upload an unofficial transcript right to your application, and we can review that. So I believe this is pretty self-explanatory, but if you have any further questions about this, please put it in the chat. My only piece of advice would be to request these early. Some schools, it can take them a little bit to get you an unofficial copy if you don't have one. So just make sure you request them and have them at the time that you're applying to the program. Now let's talk about test scores, because this is a little bit different from years past, as Camino has mentioned. If you are a global network student, you may have spoken with some alums who have told you that they didn't need a GRE or Gmat, and that may have been the case for them, but we do require it for this year. So we are not able to make any exceptions. If you have not taken the Gmat or GRE, there is still time to take it. As Camino outlined our deadlines before, you can see that there is still time to take it if you want to apply in round 2 or round 3. And with this, I saw a few questions come in already asking about minimum test scores, average test scores. We don't have a minimum test score, and we also don't have an average test score at this point. This is the first year that we are requiring it among all students. So unfortunately, we don't have an average to give you. As Camino mentioned, it is just one data point. Of course, it is an important data point, as all of our, everything we ask for in the application is equally important. So really just do your best and submit the test score that is that you've taken that is strongest with your application.
I want to say something else in this, Kelsey, if you allow me, because it's
Please.
coming to mind, because we get so many questions. So usually these tests have an expiration date, but if you have taken the test to access your MBA, and let's say, you know, it's 1 year over the expiration date, you don't have to retake it. If you took the test 15 years ago, then yes, you do have to retake it, but we're not going to be super strict with the expiration date for these tests. And that's a question that we get a lot.
Thank you, Camino. Yes, very important. We do get that question a lot, so I appreciate you jumping in. Next, let's talk about your resume and CV. So as Camino mentioned, we are really hoping for 1 to 2 pages at most for your CV. We are very intentional with what we ask for in the application. And when we receive a resume that's 5-6 pages long, it's pretty hard to sift through and to navigate your career so far. So we are very intentional when we ask for 1 to 2 pages. It should be a snapshot of your professional experience and include all of your work experience to date. And I have a couple of tips here. If you're not sure how to format your resume for an application, we do offer a template right in our application, and we hope you take advantage of it. Of course, it doesn't need to look exactly like this, but it helps to give you an idea of a resume that we would expect. Another tip is sometimes candidates would like to include pictures of certificates or volunteer work or things that they have done. I would recommend including this on your resume or somewhere within the application instead of sending us photos or scans of your certificates. I think that the resume under volunteer work or optional information is a really good place to put that. So again, 1 to 2 pages in length. Please give us an idea of your responsibilities and your roles in the companies that you have worked for, and include all of your work experience to date.
Adding something else here,
Please.
Kelsey. We don't like to see gaps in your resume. We're going to be looking carefully at the dates. So if you have some gaps in your resume, couple years, a year that we don't know what you've been doing, we offer you an additional essay to explain anything that you need to clarify in your application. That additional essay is for this kind of things. It's not to repeat things that you have already mentioned through your application, but if you have had, I don't know, a health issue, a family emergency, something that have prevented you from work or study for some time, then you need to explain that, because we're going to be looking for consistency in your trajectory. And if we see gaps and those are not explained, we're going to worry. So that's something that I also wanted to add in this part.
Great point. And last tip here, similar to the essays, please proofread your resumes. We've seen mistakes in dates and punctuation and spelling, so it's really important throughout your whole application to just proofread. Now let's talk a little bit more about the letters of recommendation. Camino already went over these in what we require for the application, but we'll just give you a little bit more information. And the one I think that we will be asked the most about is one professional letter of recommendation from a current or previous supervisor. Now, again, we are intentional with what we ask for. So when we say professional recommendation, that is what we hope for. We don't really want to see a letter of recommendation from a friend or a family member. And we would prefer a professional recommendation over a professor, unless they have very specifically supervised work that you have done for them. So please contact a current or previous supervisor for this. Give them plenty of time. We have seen letters of recommendation take a really long time to come in. So give them plenty of time. Make sure you are asking someone that you can count on to write the letter for you. And just plenty of notice is my biggest tip here. We say to choose a reference who could speak to your character, performance, and potential. We do mean that a current or former supervisor can tell us how you performed in the workspace, what you've brought to the team, how you've helped the company or organization. So please make sure you're asking someone who can speak to all of those traits. And as we say here, just to say it again, request it well in advance and must be submitted by the deadline for review. If you notice that your recommender is taking a long time and you can't get a hold of them, ask someone else who has supervised your work. You really don't want to make yourself more nervous when it comes to the deadline and you notice that your letter of recommendation hasn't come in yet. So really ask someone that you can count on for this. And let's talk about the dean or director letter. So if you are a student from a global network school, you will know who this is. We work very closely with those schools, so someone in your MBA office will know what the MAM program is. They will know what we are looking for. If you're having trouble figuring out who this is and you're from a global network school, please feel free to reach out to us at our email address, which will be at the end of the application. And as Camino mentioned, if you are not from a global network school, we are just asking them to confirm that you are in good standing in your MBA program, that you are a good citizen of your MBA program. We're not looking for a full letter of recommendation as we were from your professional source. Now, video questions. This is my favorite one to talk about because I always think it's a little bit funny because we're on video right now and you will be too, and we'll be reviewing it. So get a lot of questions about these and happy to answer them because it does tend to make people nervous. And my first tip is that's what we expect. We expect you to be nervous. Being on camera is never easy. Camino and I know that right now. So we do expect some nerves. The video questions just help us to get to know you a little bit better. And as Camino mentioned before, we don't require the TOEFL or any other language exam. So it does help us gauge your language ability, your ability to keep up in a fast-paced classroom taught in English. So all of those are helpful in the video questions. It's a really fun way for us to get to know you a little bit better. And I also get asked a lot if there is preparation needed. There is not. We are not trying to stump you with these. We are not trying to trick you. We're not throwing equations on the screen and asking you to solve them. They are just behavioral questions that help us get to know you a little bit better. And as we mentioned, help us gauge your language ability. And my piece of advice here is once you start the video questions, you get one take. You cannot re-record them. So when you are ready to record these, just make sure that you're ready. You know, you're wearing what you want to wear. You are mentally prepared to answer the questions. Although we said there's no preparation needed, you may want to take a minute to collect your thoughts. So just be ready when you hit record on these video questions and understand that you only get one shot to record them. Now let's talk about the optional information. Camino outlined this when we were talking about the resume, but we'll just talk a little bit more here. I keep saying we are intentional with what we ask for. So this is not a spot to tell us how much you want to come to the program or how excited you are to submit your application. We know that, and we're excited to read your application as well. So this is really to clarify any gaps in your resume. If your academic performance in some classes is not what you had hoped it would be, this is a good spot to maybe tell us why. So it's really significant information that there was not a spot for in the application. You could tell us a little bit more here. And if you are missing something, or if you think something requires explanation, we do appreciate when you fill in the optional information. It really shows us that you recognize this in your application and you are taking the opportunity to tell us a little bit more about it. And I think that brings us to Q&A. So we can start answering questions. Camino, please feel free to jump in with any other tips or advice. But I think now we can move to questions.
Yes, we can. I'm gonna put in the chat. The email address in case there's some questions that people don't want to ask publicly. You can write to us, and we would be thrilled to answer your questions. So I'm gonna put it in the chat, and Kelsey, you can take. Oh, we got plenty of questions already.
Great. Yes, we do have a lot of questions. So pulling up the Q&A, Camino, one of our questions is, I am a current MBA student at a non-global network school. Should I wait for round 3 to apply, or do I need to start an application now? And what I think this student may be asking is he able to start a round 3 application now, since we know that round 3 is the round that is open to non-global network schools. So if you want to start your application, and as we said, give plenty of time for your recommenders to write their letter and to submit it and to request your transcripts, you can start it now, but you do need to apply in round 3.
I'm gonna add something because I'm getting a lot of questions from non-GNAM applicants, and they want to know, well, are we in disadvantage compared to global network applicants because we don't come from GNAM? The answer is no. We have reserved only round 3 for non-GNAM applicants this year, but you are not going to be in any disadvantage. We're going to take the best candidates in round 3 from GNAM or non-GNAM schools. We just wanted to bring the best and the brightest, so no disadvantage. Doesn't matter where you come from, but as Kelsey says, yes, you will have to submit your application in round 3. You can start now, but submission round 3.
Great. Camino, I will throw this question to you. This student wants to know if they are only 3 months into their MBA by round 2, should they apply in round 2, or should they wait until round 3 when they have some more grades?
I would say apply when you are ready to apply. If you think your application is strong enough, with those grades from just 3 months, submit your application. The earlier, the better, because we are admitting students in every round. And so yeah, that would give you a little bit more of time to plan also for coming to the program. But if you think that you're gonna be better off waiting for round 2 and getting more grades because you're doing great in your MBA, you can also wait. It's really your decision whether you want to go for round 1 or round 2. But we're going to be monitoring also your performance through the program, even if you apply in round 1. So it's really up to you. I wish I could give you an answer, do this or do that, but yeah, I can't. If you feel your application is strong enough by round 1, go ahead and submit. If you think it's going to be stronger with the grades, with more grades in, then wait until round 2.
Great. Lots of questions about minimum test scores. As we mentioned, we do not have a minimum test score. It is an important data point. So of course you want to do your very best that you can, but we don't have a minimum. It's not that if you didn't receive a certain score, you can't apply to the program. We don't have a minimum. So I hope that you will apply and just submit the very best test score that you have taken.
The thing that I will say here is, yeah, just what Kelsey said. The only thing is if you are hoping to get a merit scholarship, the stronger the score, the better, right? We're gonna be looking for the best of the best in the applicant pool. So if you're trying to get some scholarship money and you can submit a better score, if you're not totally happy with your score, then that might be something to consider.
Great. Camino, would online courses like Coursera help for an application if there is a weak point in their application that they want to make up for?
Everything counts. So yes, we're looking for people that are lifelong learners that really have a strong interests. But we are also very capable of seeing who's collecting certificates. So we're looking for you to tell us your story. So don't just collect certificates for the sake of collecting certificates. If you are interested in fintech, for example, and that's why you want to come to us, and you've done a couple of Coursera courses that are the ones that have triggered that interest, that is super interesting. But if you're taking, 15 Coursera courses all over the place, and you just want to put like names on your resume from the universities that were teaching those courses on Coursera, we can also tell that. So yes, we're looking for lifelong learners, people that have strong interests. Be genuine, be yourself. Don't try to present somebody that is not you, because we can tell. And it's all right to be vulnerable and show us some weaknesses. We all have weaknesses. Nobody's perfect. So just be really genuine. Don't try to impress us. Just do what you love doing, and then just show us who you are. That's what we want to see.
Great. Next question. Does university GPA affect my acceptance? What is the average university GPA? So similar to test scores, we don't have an average. It is an important data point, just as everything else is. So we are hopeful that you have a strong academic performance to show us in your application. And as I'm sure you can imagine, the classroom at Yale School of Management is a rigorous classroom. So we want to make sure that you can thrive in that classroom along with your classmates. So we don't have an average or a minimum, but we do like to see a strong academic performance. Camino, anything to add there?
No, I mean, everything counts, and yeah, we don't have a minimum, but we're looking for excellence. So yeah, hopefully you performed fairly well in your undergrad, because we're going to be looking at your grades.
Great. Next question. What if my supervisor cannot write the recommendation in English? Good question. We are looking for all the materials you submit to be in English, including your transcripts, including your letters of recommendation. So I would recommend asking someone who can provide that for you. But Camino, do you have any other tips for that?
No, I could read it in Spanish, but no, I'm totally kidding. We do need them in English. The only thing that I would say there is, even if it's not in English, I want to see the original and then the translation. Don't submit just the translation. I also want to see the original letter in whatever language it is, plus the translation.
Wonderful. So one question is, someone's asking about submitting transcripts. They know we want all of the degree granting transcripts, and they want to know if we can accept postgraduate certificates or diploma transcripts also in the portal. Yes, there is room to upload more than your undergraduate and your MBA transcript. So if you also have a certificate or a one-year master's degree that you need to include, yes, you can. As we mentioned, if it's a Coursera course or something that did not end in some type of degree, we don't need to see that as a transcript. Next question, will there be a waitlist for round 3? There's a waitlist for all of our rounds. So we release decisions all on the same day. So you will receive either a admission. Fortunately, there are some denies or a waitlist decision. So in all rounds, we do have a waitlist as well. Next question, my MBA program confirms graduation in October. I wonder if it is a problem to be enrolled in the Yale MAM program. This depends, I would say this depends on your university. If it's a global network school, we likely have seen this in the past, and there are accommodations that can be made if just the ceremony is in October or something like that. But what I really want to highlight here is that the MAM program is a full-time program that begins in August with mandatory orientation. So if you still need to be at your university through October, there would be a conflict with you getting to Yale to start the program on time.
Yeah, I believe this candidate from all the questions is a non-GNAM candidate. So yes, if you need to stay and complete your degree until October, you will have to wait and apply for the following year. If it's just a formality, you're done with all your courses, you're done with everything, final exams and everything. It's just that the ceremony is in October. We would accept a letter from your MBA school saying that you have completed all the requisites to graduate, and it's just the graduation ceremony that is in October.
Thanks, Camino. So I will pass this question to you, Camino. Someone wants to know if they are denied this year, would we recommend that they reapply in the coming years?
Yeah, and there's another question related to this that I'm going to answer together, which is if I get rejected in one of the rounds, can I apply in the following round? So you can only apply once per year. So if you have applied in round 1 and you get rejected, you are not able to apply round 2 or round 3. You have to wait until the following year. And that then brings me to this second question. Yes, you can totally apply years after, and we have admitted people that have been rejected in the past, but please do not submit the same application because if it was rejected, it was because it wasn't strong enough. So you would have to have, more elements in your application to show us that you are a stronger candidate now, and that can be in the form of more work experience, better test scores, and amazing new initiative, social venture that you have launched. Anything that is really strengthening your application. It's very difficult to change your transcripts because those are, education that you've done in the past, but any of the other elements of the application should be stronger.
Great. Next question. What is the typical cohort size? Typically about 60 students, give or take a few. I believe we've gone up to 70 in the past, and we've also had a couple of cohorts that were a little bit less than 60, but I think about 60 is a safe answer to say. Would you agree, Camino?
Yeah, 60 to 65 would be the size, especially this year that we're opening it up to non-GNAM schools. I think would be between 60 and 65 students.
Great. We have one question about on-campus employment opportunities. This student wants to know if they are an international student, could they work in the school? So the answer to that is yes. You are able to obtain an on-campus employment through Yale. Other work outside of student jobs through Yale is typically not allowed with the visa that you'll be on, which is a student visa. So while you are able to work on campus, be in an admissions office, maybe in the career development office, maybe as a TA or an RA, through Yale, you are not able to work outside of the university on your student visa. Camino, we have a question. How many slots are allotted for non-GNAM students this year?
There is not a quota, and we do have plenty of seats for each of the rounds. So it's not like we're gonna be putting a quota for GNAM and non-GNAM schools. Again, we have plenty of seats, and we are going to be taking all the eligible candidates. No such a thing as a quota.
Great. We have a question about classes in the days of COVID. Are we face-to-face? So right now we are doing our very, very best to keep our students in the classroom on campus to get the full experience. Of course, we cannot predict the future, but this year we have been in person, and we do expect next year's class to be in person as well. So we don't offer an online option or anything like that. So if you are applying to the program, please plan to be here in person.
There's a question, can I resubmit another test score after the deadline? I'll pass this over to you, Kelsey. You deal more.
Yeah, I can take this question, Camino. So this question gets a little bit tricky because you have not given us an exact date. And sometimes there's a little bit of a delay in receiving test scores. So I would say if you're taking the test score pretty close to the deadline and you can submit it to us maybe the day, 2 days after the deadline, we would probably be able to add it to your application. But if it's much longer than that, we can't make any promises that we'll be able to review it as part of your application. So please plan for all your test scores to be in by the deadline, since we cannot make any promises as to being able to review them after that.
There's a question, is the GMAT score the most relevant for merit scholarship? No. I did make the comment to submit a strong score if you want to be considered, but it's not the most important. Everything is important. We want to see amazing work experience or internship experience. We want to see great transcripts. It's super important. How well have you done in your undergrad? How well have you done in your MBA? So everything is important. There's no one thing that is more important than other. Should we send the official GMAT score before deadline or an unofficial one would work, Kelsey?
So we will need the official GMAT score. An unofficial score, I would say, would really be only in the circumstance that we just mentioned. You're trying to prove to us that you have received a stronger test score right around the time of the deadline. We really do hope to see all official test scores in by the application. Of course, if there is an issue with that, please contact us and we can work with you a little bit more directly, but we do need all test scores to be official by a certain point.
We have more questions in the chat, so I'm going to move over from Q&A to chat because we still have minutes left. There's a candidate here that says it's a former entrepreneur, exited the company and wants to pursue bigger challenges and wants to create a business based in the US. Do I think this program would fit this person? It very much depends on how you plan to enrich your education. So it's not so much the outcome afterwards, but is the program going to fulfill your needs? If you're already an entrepreneur and then you want to become an entrepreneur in the US, the program will not help you build a company in the US, but it might help you understand the business context in the US, what it takes to be an entrepreneur in the US. It will educate you, but it will not actually make that happen for you, if that makes sense. So you should always think of the program in terms of content and the knowledge that will bring to you, and know so much where you want to work after the program. I hope that answers your question.
Camino, it looks like we have a question that just popped in through the Q&A. What if there are too many applicants from one country?
We love that. That's not a problem. That's not a problem at all. And we do have countries that are more represented than others. We just want to get the best possible candidates into the classroom. Yes, diversity is important. We don't want to have 60 students all from the same country, but that's not going to happen. but quality comes first. Quite frankly, we want the best candidates. So quality comes first. We're not going to be rejecting very strong candidates to take candidates from other parts of the world if they're not as strong. I keep going on the chat. No minimum GRE test score. We already said that. I am from an associate university. Can I apply in round 3? Not sure what that means. Kelsey, do you know what an associate university?
I think that they're probably from a global network school, and they are asking if round 3 is only open to non-global network schools, or if they can still apply in round 3. That's my understanding of the question.
Thank you. So yes, you can apply in round 3, GNAM or non-GNAM schools. It's open to everybody. Let's put it that way.
You know, I think that we have hit most of the questions. And I know we want to give one final piece of advice, but let me know if you've spotted any other questions come through.
We still have 9 minutes, so I want to see if we got more in the chat. I don't know if you had the chance to go through the chat.
Yes, I'm looking through it now. I think we have hit most of these questions or answered similar questions, but of course, if you have spotted something that I haven't, please feel free to jump in.
It seems like we got more questions about the merit scholarship. What constitutes merit for a scholarship? Again, very strong application compared to the pool of candidates that we have. Great transcripts, great test scores, great experience, great recommendation letters, great essays, great video questions, strong personality, fit with the school, fit with the program, help us understand why the MAM is the program for you, why you're going to be a great ambassador of Yale SOM, not only during the program, but beyond. I can't repeat it, but we're looking for excellence, and those that really stand out in the pool are the ones that are going to get a stronger merit scholarship. I can say it louder, but I don't think I can say it clearer.
Okay. Sorry, Camino. I think one question came in through the Q&A. Someone who their university has asked them to submit an internship in September, which will be graded, but they will be free to go anywhere after July. Would this be a problem for the MAM program?
So the report has to be submitted by September, but free to go anywhere after July, that's totally fine. Our program starts mid-August. So as long as you're able to be here in mid-August, that's totally fine if you can submit your report later, and if that is not like a requirement to get your degree.
Great. Some more questions keep coming through the Q&A. Someone is wondering if they are not offered admission, will we provide feedback? Unfortunately, no, we do not provide feedback on any application. We simply aren't able to, but we hope that you will reflect on your application, see what parts you can possibly improve on, and reapply again in the future.
And let me say something else here. We don't provide feedback, but what I'm going to say is you might be a very strong candidate. It's just that you weren't strong enough in the pool of candidates that we were considering. Sometimes I get like, how come I didn't get in, or how come, you know, other people got in? It's just a matter of the pool of candidates that we got. We do not provide feedback, but that shouldn't be discouraging you at all. And as Kelsey say, maybe you can reapply the following year with a stronger application, and you'll have a better chance.
Great.
Can you use the school dormitory? Kelsey, you know this.
Yes, you can apply to live in a school dormitory. I would say among MAM students, it is pretty much split 50-50, living on campus versus off campus. Sometimes people come with families and they want to live off campus. Sometimes they want to gather a few roommates and rent a house together. So if you are looking to live on campus in a dormitory, you will need to contact Yale Housing once you are admitted to the program. The admissions team does not facilitate on-campus housing for you, so you will work with our Yale Housing Department directly.
When will this recording be available?
Well, we will email it to all of our registrants of the session as soon as we are able to download it and get it on our website. I would say likely by the end of the week. We don't have an exact date, but likely by the end of the week, we will be able to email you this recording. It will also be on our YouTube page and our website.
Okay. The person talking about the internship report says that this is a requirement. Then you should submit the report before August to make sure that you are here by August. We do need to know that you have graduated from your school, unless you come from a GM school with whom we have a concurrent degree. If not, we do need to have proof that you have completed your coursework at your MBA institution. Okay, so should we give our final piece of advice?
I think so.
Okay, do you want to go first? You want me to go first?
You go first, Camino.
Okay, my final piece of advice, and I have already hinted it through the presentation, is we want to get to know you. We don't want to know somebody that you think we want to know or be impressed by. We want to get to know the real you. So present yourself in a genuine way. And this goes both ways. You need to tell us, yeah, how good you are, how you want to come to the program, what you plan to get from the program. But you also have to put yourself in our shoes. We're also going to be looking at what can you give to us? How are you going to be contributing to the program? How are you going to be a great Yale ambassador? So don't focus just on what you're going to take from the program, but also focus on what you're going to give to the program. The best answer to any of our questions is why the MAM makes sense to you, how you plan to leverage this program. Again, this is not for everybody, so we need to understand why this is a good program for you, and then how are you going to be representing well Yale SOM in our mission statement. The worst, again, the worst possible answer that I get so many times, and it just, brings me completely down, is when I open a video question and they tell me they want to, or an essay, and they tell me that they want to come to Yale because it's one of the most prestigious universities in the world. Wrong answer. There's so many prestigious universities in the world, but that's not a strong reasoning of why you want to come to the MAM, why you want to come to Yale SOM. We know Yale has a big brand name. That should not be the only motivation for you to come to the program. It's not going to convince us. So that's my biggest piece of advice. Kelsey, what about you?
So my biggest piece of advice is you're not the first MAM class. There was once a first MAM class not too long ago. So you're very lucky to have the opportunity to speak with current students, alums, understand why they pursued the program, what they're getting out of the program, what their application process was like. So while you may have attended all our webinars, and we are very happy that you have, Camino and I are staff members, so we can't speak to the program from a student perspective. We do try and offer some student-facing webinars, but we do have a really fantastic page of admissions ambassadors who are current and former students who have offered their time to help you with any questions that you may have and give you a better understanding of the program from a student. So that's always my biggest piece of advice when applying. I think when you ask those questions, it just gives you a whole different level of understanding of the program than what Camino and I can offer. So that is always my biggest piece of advice.
Thank you so much, Kelsey. We're pretty much on time, so I just want to say thank you to everybody. It's been a fantastic session, very dynamic with all your questions, and that's what we were aiming for. So we're very grateful to your contributions, and that it wasn't just us talking, that we had a lot of interaction from attendees, so very grateful. And then again, thank you for your time. We probably know how busy you are. You guys are studying, doing MBA, working, doing multiple things. So for you taking the time to be live with us today, it really means a lot. So again, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you're in the world. Thank you so much. Stay in touch. Make sure that you reach out to us, advanced.management@ yale.edu if you have further questions. Everything will be on our website, all the events that we've done so far. Also contacts with our student ambassadors, as Kelsey was mentioning, and then also access to our application. There's still time for round 2. So if you're ready, go ahead and present your best self. And we're looking forward to reading your application. If you're not ready, go for round 3. And for those of you that are non-GNAM students, please submit in round 3. We're so much looking forward to extending the pool of talent this year. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Kelsey.
Thank you.